What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Monday. We are coming to you live from Los Angeles, and this podcast is presented to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. We have our Pepsi Wild Cherry sitting with us in the hotel. We're always stacked with Pepsi Wild Cherry.
Had to get it delivered before we even got here, you know?
Right.
That's how ahead of the game we have to be.
We have to be stacked with Pepsi Wild Cherry at all times so that we can get those wild moments in at any time. Fran, give me a wild moment from your weekend.
Oh.
Give me a little wild moment.
Well, would you consider not leaving your apartment for 36 hours wild?
Yes, that's the exact kind of wild moment I'm talking about.
Because I came home from New Orleans on Friday and then did not step foot outside until Sunday morning.
Until today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Until,
no,
we are recording on Sunday night.
Right,
Important
yeah.
to know. Normally we're Monday mornings. Yeah, and Joe was away. So Saturday night I started to lose it a little bit. I was texting you like incessantly. Because we were talking. We were having a nice conversation.
We had a great conversation.
But I almost started reading my text messages that I was typing to you like out loud, you know, just to like hear my voice being like, oh my God, yes, you're so right. Like, or like going back and forth on outfits, like sending pictures and being like out loud, oh, that looks good. Like just to make sure, you know, when you don't talk for so long and then you're like, can I even still talk?
Yes.
Like you're afraid to open your mouth because you're like, what's even going to come out? I haven't talked in so long.
Yeah. I mean, I said yes so fast, but like I feel like I'm always talking, so maybe no. But I've had that moment when you're alone for a
was
weekend,
alone for so long that I was like, what do I even sound like?
Right. So that's a great little wild
moment.
That
was wild. That's super wild.
That's your definition of wild.
Yep.
And with Pepsi Wild Cherry, you can make any definition of wild your own. I had a similar weekend to yours. Got home from New Orleans and slept until like 2 p.m. on Saturday. But then later at night, because I had like been sleeping the whole day, me and Matt were like, we got to get out of here. Yeah. Like we just got a new car. Skirt. So I really wanted to like test drive. Well, I didn't. I test drove it already.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the one to drive to Brooklyn. So
no, fair.
Obviously
on a Saturday night.
I am like the true definition of a passenger princess.
Like, yes, you definitely are.
That is me to a T. I enjoy it. I love it. I thrive in it, embrace in it. And we drove to Brooklyn for some pizza because Jersey City, great food in Jersey City and Hoboken. I've yet to find pizza that I really enjoy there.
Oh, wow. Really?
Like, we have really struggled to find a place that we really enjoy.
I'm sure you're going to get flooded with people now telling you where to go.
And I'm sure I've tried them.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're both from Long Island. So me and Matt agree that, like, Long Island pizza is some of the best pizza. And then Brooklyn also has the best pizza. So we took a little trip to Brooklyn Saturday night.
You just got to find the good places because I'll defend Jersey pizza. There's good Jersey pizza.
I'm sure, but like very close. Like it doesn't hit the spot the way I want it to. Okay, there's good places, but not the kind of pizza I'm looking for. Like they have like personal pie. Like there's one plate, whatever. Besides the point, that was my little wild moment of the weekend because then today we got on another flight, but. Just to mention, thanks to Pepsi Wild Cherry again. And if you want to get wild this weekend, this week coming up, if you want to just get wild on your lunch break and grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry with your lunch, your dinner, night out, grab your Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild with us. We just arrived in LA, actually, literally an hour ago.
Yes.
We got to our hotel, set up the podcast equipment
immediately.
And now we are recording. We were in New Orleans last week. And great show.
Yes.
Great crowd.
Yes.
We really had a fantastic time there. Never been to New Orleans, and it's a funky city. It was cool. Great food.
I feel like it is really. I don't know. I couldn't tell if you really liked it or not, solely for the like spiritual aspect of everything that was going on. You know.
Let me tell you,
like, I feel like if you took out the whole "is this city haunted" thing, you would have really, really liked New Orleans.
Right. the way that New Orleans is presented as a city is how I feel about New Orleans. Like there's a devil and angel on my shoulders telling me you loved this place. The food was fantastic. Weird, funky, cool city, cool people around, like just cool things happening.
Yeah.
And then the devil on my shoulders saying you had nightmares when you were there because you walked past ghost tours and there was a Lucifer devil room down the hall from your hotel room.
We took the car after the show to go get food, and we got dropped off in the French Quarter, and there was, groups of people in certain areas on the street, and we got out of the car and we were walking past them, and I looked at Rhea and I was like, those are the ghost tours.
The way that I sprinted.
You were like, what?
The way that I sprinted home. Not home, towards the food place.
You're like, get me away from these people.
Well, now that we're not there anymore, so we can talk about it. We stayed at the Saint Hotel.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to paint a picture for people who haven't been to New Orleans, because the people who live there or been there get what we're talking about, but people who haven't have no idea what we're fucking talking about right now. But we stayed at this hotel called the Saint Hotel. And when we checked in, they were like, okay, you're on the floor with the suites and you have the Raphael suite. And I'm like, oh my God, great. Like, he's an angel.
Yep.
You have the St. Christopher suite. Mm-hmm. He's a saint. Next door to me was St. Gabriel. And I was like, my mom's going to love this. And so as soon as I got to my room, I FaceTime my mom. I'm like, Mom, like it looks like the Coliseum in here. Like, look at
it was full like statues,
like, right,
of saints and figures were the blinds, like the curtains. Like you pulled it down, you were unveiling a full like David sculpture,
of course. And as you know, I'll throw it in. Haven't done it in a while. As somebody who went to Catholic school their whole life.
Yep.
I wasn't creeped out by this aspect, right? I could see how somebody may not like that, but I was like, oh my God, like I'm in heaven. Like, oh my God, I'm floating amongst the clouds. Right. I'm safe in this room.
You know what's funny is I too also went to Catholic school.
And you never mention it. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it didn't define you as well. I think maybe like your mom is not as religious as my mom is. And I think maybe that is where the difference is. Like my mom, she still goes to church every Sunday. She has her prayer book. She does her prayers every day.
It's just not really in my family as much these days.
Right. So
sorry to my grandparents.
Yeah. So I think that's why I bring it up. But then you found that
it was hard to miss.
Next to my room,
the end of the hall. It was literally like the scary walk to the end of the hall. Like it was the last door at the end of the hallway.
Was the Lucifer room with the devil painted on the door. Mm-hmm. And now I tell my mom this, and she was like, "Well, originally he was a saint." I'm like, "Mom,
right?" She's telling you the full history.
No, I'm like, "Mom."
She's like, "Lucifer just went down a bad path, you know." But he had a good heart to start.
Right. And I'm like, we looked up the room online. It was full red dungeon, naked women, honestly, stripper poles, a sex dungeon.
Looking up the pictures of the room did help me.
It did help for sure.
Because it helped me visualize like the inside. Because at first it was such a mystery. I was like, oh my God, what is in there? Like, it could be so scary. And honestly, seeing the pictures, I was like, it looks exactly as I thought it was going to look. Which was honestly calming. Like, it was calming that it looked like that. I was like, it has a red plush carpet, and there's the curtains were women's legs with black stilettos on, and there was a stripper pole
and disco balls and people. That's a party room. Like they're getting down with the devil's drugs in there.
Yeah.
So
the people that were in the room in between us should have been in that room.
They no, they really should have. We need to talk about that. So besides the point, besides, we
got past the Lucifer.
We got past that,
besides the nightmares you had both nights.
I did. The first night I was there, I had a dream. I was in confession with a priest, and I couldn't it was more like an interrogation rather than the confession I remember as a kid. And then the second night I had a nightmare that I was being tortured, like throwing up. It was a whole thing.
Yep.
Joyful. And I think that was only because my sister had told me that she really enjoyed New Orleans, but she had nightmares after she left. And so and that was right before I went to bed.
Yeah.
So I truly think it was just my sister telling me that's why that happened. I do not put it on the city of New Orleans. I said multiple times to you guys that I actually really enjoyed it and was like, I loved the food. Like I said, funky, cool.
Yeah. We had a lovely time walking around. Great restaurants, great food.
It seemed like, we didn't go to the bars, but we walked past a bunch of them and the music was great. The vibes were great. Like I thought it was a really a cool place. I'm really glad we got to experience it.
Same.
There were people staying in the room between me and Francesca.
Yeah.
And let me just play the tapes.
Oh God.
Of them screaming. Now, now we're not ones to complain about noise in a hotel room. Like we're not noise complaint people.
Well, this is the problem. There was only so many rooms on the floor.
Right.
So, process of elimination, we were just afraid of tattling and then being found out for tattling.
Yes.
That was the problem, because it did get to the point where I was like, I must put an end to this.
Right.
I'm going to have to call the front desk and say something. And then I was like, oh, well, what if I run into somebody in the hallway and they're like, it had to have been you. There's only 4 doors on this floor.
Exactly. And we talked about that because it was 2 a.m. and we had an early flight the next day. And we get it. People are partying in New Orleans, but it sounded like these people were fighting. And that's
it
where
went back and forth, I think.
Right.
And there was laughter. There was fights.
That's where my interest peaked, because I was like, I want to go to sleep right now, but more than I want to go to sleep, I want to find out what is happening in this room.
Yep, totally.
Because I heard her yell like, he was my husband, bitch. And I was like, oh, what happened?
I did put my ear against the wall for a little bit. Like when I was still getting ready for bed and I wasn't fully in bed, I was like, let me just put my ear against the wall, see if I can really like get some full dialogue. And I could make it out a little more. My bed was on the other side, so that was helpful. But it was still loud.
I'm going to play it because this is how loud it was, that you can hear it so clearly.
Oh man, they were.
So we were like nervous. We were like, okay, these ladies are fighting. There's a man in the room.
Right.
He at one point was like telling them they were being too loud.
Right.
It was a whole thing.
It was.
And I just got really nosy, and I wanted to not. I had to stop myself so many times. I think if I had a little alcohol in my system, I would have knocked on that door and said, ladies,
yeah,
tell me what the problem is.
Let's figure something
out. You guys need a third party to tell you guys who's right and who's wrong right now.
Yeah.
Tell Rhea what's happening. But I couldn't muster up the courage to do that, because what if it was really serious?
Yeah.
And then I'm in the room with them and now I'm having to decide, like I'm the judge and I have to tell them who's right and wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And then what if I piss one of them off? For being wrong.
Yep.
So that was fun. Well, I honestly had a really fun and funny time.
I did too.
And now we're here.
It's always fun when Trent's along with us.
Yeah. And of course we had Trent, and Trent loves to explore the cities we go to when we go. Sometimes when he's been to them already and knows what they're about. Like he loves New Orleans, so he wanted to walk around with us and enjoy the beignets and the gumbo and all of that. So that was great. Now we're in LA, and we told you guys on Friday that we were unsure if we're going to the Bachelor finale, but we are. We are going to the After the Final Rose.
I'm so excited.
I am so excited as well. I feel like it's been years in the making now of like potentially going to the finale. And I'm so excited. I can't wait. But we will recap after. We will tweet. And we do think Joey's coming on the podcast on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we will try to have the episode out.
With or without a winner. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll try to have the episode out Tuesday night instead of Wednesday morning. So we'll get that to you guys sooner than expected. It'll definitely be out sometime on Tuesday. It'll be before Wednesday. So that's really exciting. I'm really excited for that. And then we just have, a couple days in LA. Who knows what's to happen? A nice little Abercrombie event on Wednesday that we're going to, and then our show on Thursday in LA. So if you're listening and you're in LA, we still do have tickets available. The Taylor Lautners, Tay and Taylor, they will be special guests at the show, and it's our last show of the tour. So we are ending the tour this week. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind experience. Thank you to everybody who has come to the shows and has supported us, and the signs that everybody makes. It's amazing to see, and like the dedication. It truly, like, I almost teared up on stage at New Orleans, like seeing the signs people make, because
No, people really go like, they're so creative.
they really are. Like, you guys are
creative.
so funny and so creative, and thank you so much for supporting us. And we're gonna have a lovely week in LA, and we'll keep you guys updated on the rest of the
Amazing.
podcast.
Beautiful.
Let's get into the rest of the show. Unfortunately, we do have an update on Kate Middleton, and we do owe an apology, and we will get into that. We are going to be talking about Ariana Madix. She bought a new house, Vanderpump Rules. Also,
That means she's moving out.
She's moving out, and some drama going on with Vanderpump Rules, so we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about an update on everything that has come out from the Quiet on Set documentary, all the Nickelodeon things people have spoken out. We'll talk about that. And we have the weekly watch report, so let's get into the topics. You guys know how serious I take my hair, okay? My hair to me is one of the most important things. I take my hair care very, very seriously. I have worked to get my hair to grow and be luscious and long and at the point that it's at now. And one of the products that I can promise you that I have used along the way is from Way. I've been using the Way leave-in conditioner for the past 7 years of my life now. I have never changed my leave-in conditioner. I have always used Way, and I swear by it. I tell everybody about it, and I tell everybody about the Way products in general, not just the leave-in conditioner. All of their products are to die for. Right now, you can get Way's new anti-frizz cream, which is just a blessing, okay? For, wavy hair girl. I have wavy hair naturally. Sometimes, when you leave it natural, they can have that little frizz. But when you use the anti-frizz cream and you want to leave your hair natural, that helps it out. Or maybe all different kinds of hair, the anti-frizz cream can help you out. It's a lightweight cream that provides immediate frizz control that lasts up to 72 hours. So get busy being frizz-free with Way's new anti-frizz cream. It provides immediate frizz control that lasts up to 72 hours. Plus, huge plus, has heat protection up to 450, which is very important if you are styling your hair with heat often. It also helps reduce repair split ends while quenching dry hair with intense hydration. I love Way's products. Besides the anti-frizz cream, which you guys should absolutely get, I love Way's body products, their body cleanser, their creams, their scrubs. I use them all, especially for that everything shower where you're going to do it all. The Way products, they really come in handy. I just absolutely love everything that Way makes. I think they make it with the utmost care, and I'm obsessed. So frizz-free, up your schedule with Way. Go to THEOUAI.com and enter promo code CHICKS for 15% off any products. That's THEOUAI.com, promo code CHICKS. So very, very unfortunate news. The weekend has passed now, and on Friday morning, it was the Palace is going to put out a statement. They're going to put out news at 2 p.m. Eastern time to explain what has been going on. And it had been revealed that Kate Middleton had a cancer diagnosis. And I think everybody, and not everybody, but a lot of people, including us, felt extremely awful and felt like massive assholes, because I just kind of felt like, why as a society did we not just use our common sense and say, she had abdominal surgery, maybe something serious happened. It went to jokes, conspiracies, and of course everyone can get carried away on the internet. You know, everybody wants to joke around and everything, and it turned out to be something very serious. And I feel awful. Like I just feel so bad about it, and I think a lot of people feel that way. And now, if you are one of those people who did not partake in any jokes or rumors or talking about it, yeah, I guess you're better than us, because you know some people did not.
Yeah.
And but a lot of people did, and I think collectively, as a society, I think we all learned a major lesson, that you know, people who are dealing with serious health complications and concerns, it feels shitty that we did not grant her that time and peace to deal with that. And it just took on a life of its own, and it became the biggest story in the media in the world. So it was, you know, hard not to dive in and hard not to cover. And I think we all kind of feel like assholes.
Yeah, it was a punch to the gut for sure, because it was like, oh my God, it was just really hearing it, and not only seeing the news, but hearing it from Kate directly, and her making that video, which she, you know, they've said that she wrote herself, and just hearing her say, you know, that news, and then trying to explain that to her 3 young children and deal with it as a family. You think, wow, I can't believe we all went down that path as much as we did. And yes, was there moments where the Palace communications was not great? Absolutely. There were some choices that were made that maybe shouldn't have been made. I don't know. It's just like, but clearly she wanted to keep this private. So it's like, we all dug deep, and even still I was still seeing people being like, you know, well, if they just said it was something more serious, I'm like, it would not have mattered. We all went fucking crazy. And if the Palace said something like that, we would have spun it in a totally different way. Everything just like went on a full crazy spin. And it felt like, I'm sure the Palace felt like they couldn't do anything right in that scenario, and putting out, you know, the communications they were putting out. And basically, we should have just listened to what was said in the first place. She was going in for abdominal surgery. We would not see her until Easter. Right. You know, and like that was the case. Like that is really how that went, and we should have just, you know, gone with it. And of course, there's certain things where it's like, okay, what was the Mother's Day like? Why? It was like, did Kate really need to be the one to be like, oh, hand up, my bad? Like, you know, like there are certain things where you saw things were handled and it's still a question mark, but it's at the same time, she is dealing with a diagnosis that she has to mentally get through and accept and talk about with her family, and then also process on how to tell the world about this, because eventually people are going to dig, and that's something that she would have to share. And at the time, like, she probably just wanted to keep it as private as possible for as long as she could, which, you know, makes a ton of sense.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that this is just something that, you know, the internet has kind of changed entirely, that like we forget to humanize people sometimes, because they seem so far away, and it's like the royals, and you hear it for years, and it's just, and then you're like, they are real people dealing with real problems and health concerns, and they have real lives that they need to care about, and their own mental capacity.
We did think about it on Wednesday too. You know, even when we were talking about it, we certainly felt like, okay, this is like going a little too crazy. Yeah, where it was like you were either so extreme, like this isn't her, or so extreme it is her, and something serious is going on. And we both said, like, you know, this is starting to feel like if something's serious, like this is not, you know, not great. And then Friday comes around and it's like, not great. She really is going through something so serious, and just had to deal with all this craziness.
And like the internet could be a ton of fun sometimes, right? Like people can joke and laugh, and then it gets to a point where it can become super invasive and dangerous,
right? Because you take the person out of it, like you said,
right.
you're like, oh, the everything everyone's talking about, the jokes are funny, and like it is what it is. In that sense, and it really did feel like everybody had something to say about it. I mean, Kim Kardashian made it her Instagram caption. Blake Lively made a whole, Betty Buzz campaign post about it, and she posted on her story like, "I'm sorry, I'm mortified that this is what happened." That I was, you think you're making a harmless joke about a Photoshop mistake and where's Kate and all this thing.
Right.
It feels like it's not a painful thing, and then you find out the truth and you realize that you absolutely were speculating about something you shouldn't speculate on.
Right. And then a lot of us feel mortified. And I feel like it's also just a lesson in you cannot believe every single thing the media puts out, because there were all the cheating stuff and all that. And they were making it seem like that was the story. Yep. And I think everyone just learned a lesson here. And by the
way, there's still people online who
they're still running with
absolutely
it. And
insane.
I'm just ignoring it.
Friggin' hit stop. That's it.
I'm ignoring it.
Yeah.
Like can't dive back into this at this point. Just really hoping that Kate finds the peace and healing that she deserves at this point, and can handle it privately at this point. There are still going to be the people that are relentless and don't let it go and want to keep speculating and keep it going and keep the conversation going.
And the tabloids will keep it going too, even in this whole weekend, right? It's like, oh, what did Harry know? And what are Harry and Meghan saying? And they didn't know. Oh, they're keeping Harry in the dark and all these things. And so, it's like the tabloids are still going to have things to say.
And she did say in the video that the abdominal surgery, they did remove what she had then found out was cancer. They didn't think it was cancerous at the time. Then they ran tests, found out it was cancer. Now she's going to do preventative chemo and just hoping for the best for her, and that she will be okay. And I think that sort of wraps up the whole Kate Middleton conversation at this point. She needs to handle that privately, and I think we all need to allow them to do so. All of our fitness journeys start somewhere. You could start off as a beginner. You don't work out at all, but you want to get into it. Or you're advanced. You've been working out for years now and you want advanced classes. That's why Peloton is the best, because Peloton encourages you to just start. Peloton helps you start no matter what level you're at. Like I said, maybe you've been working out for years, but you've always kept it at a beginner, moderate level, and you want to get more advanced. Peloton can work you up to that. Maybe you haven't worked out in years and you're feeling motivated. You want to get into that healthy era of your life and get into the workout routine that you've been striving for. Peloton can help you out with that as well with beginner classes, whether that's beginner or advanced rides, feel good live DJ rides, or even artist themed rides. They've got you covered. I love with Peloton that with their rides, you can pick the kind of music you want to listen to, because the music that you're listening to while you're working out will change and affect your workout. I fully believe that. I need something that's going to pump me up and get me through it, get me sweating and feeling good. So get started with a Peloton bike or bike plus rental by visiting onepeloton.com/bike/rentals. Terms do apply. Once again, get started with a Peloton bike or bike plus rental by visiting onepeloton.com/bike/rentals. Terms apply. Moving on. This has been big news in the Bravo world that Ariana Madix has bought a $1.6 million house in the Hollywood Hills, which is different than the other castmates. Nobody else lives in the Hills. Right. Everyone's like, oh my God, she's living in the Hills. It's a big deal. And I think also just a big deal in general, because people have been wondering when the hell her or Tom are going to get out of this house that they share. There comes to a point where somebody has to fucking leave. Why can't it be him? But now I'm just glad to see she's got the funds to do it.
Right, but it's interesting too, because it's like, there's no news of Tom. There's no news of them selling that house, right? Like, it's like Ariana's just moving out and buying a space, which is fair. And I don't know, maybe she finally agreed to like for Tom to buy her out of the house or whatever. I don't know who knows, or maybe she just said, I can't do this anymore. This is insane.
Right. And you know what? Good for her. House looks beautiful.
Sure does.
They are posting so that happens a lot when a celebrity buys a house, the pictures and the house that gets uploaded online. And the house looks beautiful, and I'm happy for Ariana. Now, there is a lot of Vanderpump drama kind of unfolding since the reunion has happened. It seems like Lala and Ariana's friendship is no longer. Lala has alluded to that. There's been tweets about it. I think Lala and Katie's friendship is no longer. I want to know what happened, and people are already taking sides online. I want to wait until the reunion. I want to see what happened. I think watching this season of Vanderpump, there are times where I very much agree with Ariana and Katie when it comes to the Sandoval stuff. Why does anyone want to fucking be friends with him? I totally understand that. But I want to know, where Lala's coming from too. I think Lala has been through a lot of shit. I think that she does, have some good advice sometimes. But I do think, she does play like the tough guy role, and she, tries to intimidate people, and that can be off-putting for some. But I can appreciate Lala's honesty, and I want to know what happened at this reunion. Because I from what we're seeing on this season, like we talked about this, it's like, yeah, Ariana and Katie are right when they're like, why would you want to interact with Sandoval? Yeah. Like, he's clearly shown his true colors as a bad person. Like, what's going on here? So I'm interested. What happened, the falling out. It will be interesting to watch.
No, and it's also, I just feel like Katie and Lala always, not that they've always their friendship has been really good in recent years for sure. But I just feel like they are two really different people who approach most scenarios in a very different way. And maybe they just got to the point where they could not see eye to eye on something,
Yeah. And I think we can both agree that sometimes we agree with Lala, sometimes we agree with Katie. Sometimes we are, it depends on the situation. I think it depends on how you're going to handle certain situations.
This is a big tease for the reunion, though. They always find some way to get us all something juicy.
Right. And Lala knows how to sell a reunion.
Yeah.
She knows how to sell the TV show.
Right. She does.
So, and she's been doing because
I guess she has some big blow up in the finale, allegedly.
That's what she said, that she, felt like really relieved after. And there must have been she said the fourth wall was broken. Right. So that's where my interest has peaked. Like, what was said? Did she reveal something that none of us know, and she felt like she had to get it off her chest? So I'm interested in that.
Big time.
Last topic before we move on to the weekly watch report, we are caught up on the Quiet on Set documentary.
Yep.
It's just,
I watched it all. It was crazy.
It's fucking sickening. And we talked about all the Drake Bell stuff last week. His dad seriously broke my heart.
Majorly broke my heart. And Drake has been doing some press afterwards talking about it, and he had said that one of the main reasons that he has spoken up about this now is because his dad has held so much pain from this. Which is just, it kills me. It's just man.
My heart breaks for any kid, any person, adult, parent who has gone through any of this abuse. Thinking your kid is entering the world of, oh my God, my kid wants to be a star and fun, and it just turns into this is just disgusting. And the more and more things that have come out, there's been a couple of things before I touch on the other things that have came out from Nickelodeon. Ned's Declassified, they fucked up big time. They were on Instagram Live, and Devin made such an inappropriate joke about the documentary, and it just was kind of gross, and they were laughing about it, and it felt like they were really making light and joking about a topic that just is not, you know? And they've apologized and said that
they apologized. He said they hadn't watched.
But still, when you hadn't watched, but you heard what happened, it's like, how do you do that? And they deal with their own shit, and I feel like they have, I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like they have their own trauma, and the way they deal with it is by like making jokes and laughing. Right, and I think they like resorted to that, and it just like was it was gross. And they spoke about that. And then people were coming after Josh Peck so hard for not speaking about the documentary. And he also posted like such an out of touch TikTok on the same day. Like, I don't like how he didn't think before he posted. I don't know. It was like some sound.
I don't think there was a correlation
at all. I think he was just using like a viral sound, and it just was so dumb. And Drake Bell then publicly was like, hey, not everything's public. Josh did reach out to me, and then Josh said the same thing. And I think there really is something to be said about that, because all the people that are coming for the other Nickelodeon stars being like, why haven't you spoke about this? Why aren't you speaking up? You have no idea how they're processing this information, or what they may have gone through, or what trauma they have not come to terms with. Like, leave them alone, like
it's absolutely not our business to pressure people into speaking about something that either they could have witnessed or something happened. Like they just could have their own story that they might not be ready to tell right now, or don't feel comfortable commenting on something that maybe they don't even really like fully understand what happened. Right. And of course, like, you can watch the documentary and be like, oh my God, that is terrible. Mm-hmm. And we're on that, when you're on the outside looking in, but a lot of these people weren't on the other side, and who knows what happened.
Right. And I think there are plenty of times where maybe something has happened in your life that you don't fully come to terms with it until years later, and you put the pieces together and you realize it was something that you hadn't thought at the time. You have no idea what these people are going through, or what they maybe went through, or maybe didn't. Like, just leave them alone. Like, it's getting out of hand, where some people are like, why hasn't this person said anything? Ariana Grande, speak up. Like, leave her alone.
Yeah.
Like,
because I feel like now, at least I know my TikTok was like it. I'm sure a lot of people were after they watched the show, especially too, that it was just all these old clips, all these old videos, a lot of Ariana Grande clips, like a lot of videos, things that she did on Sam and Cat, or like behind. There's just a lot. So it's like people are seeing the videos, and then they just want like answers from these people immediately. It's just not.
And by the way, I hate the fact that these clips are resurfacing.
Yeah, I know.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And I understand what they were trying to do in the documentary by showing the clips, but I kind of hate that they included them. And I know, like, I get they had to show how weird it was, but now you're resurfacing these weird clips.
Yeah, and everyone's digging. I feel like everyone's digging,
and they're going back to rewatching, and they're digging,
and what else they can find. And we mentioned it because it happened last week, but Dan Schneider did sit down for an interview, and it was with an actor who I didn't realize was on one of his, like, he was on iCarly.
He was the bagel stick guy, the top whatever.
So obviously somebody that he already knows. And I listened to it. It was 20 minutes. It was, I handle things poorly and wish I did different things differently, Yeah. And basically, like, even talking about the inappropriate jokes and whatnot, he's like, oh, people think they're inappropriate, like, take them out now. It's like, that's not the problem. The problem is not taking them out now.
Right.
The problem was you had them, they happened under your watch in the first place.
And the problem is you put all these kids through this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And a lot, like, this is what I'm saying. A lot, like, I forgot about all these, like, behind the scenes videos that he specifically took around these sets, where you just hear his, like, he's filming, you just hear his voice, and he's just like, hey, everybody, like, talking to other people. I've seen those keep popping up for me. Oh God. It's just like, it's just terrible. Really, really terrible. And I hope that Drake has been able to find some peace sharing this story with the world.
Definitely. Because it's honestly just sickening.
Yeah.
Like sickening what happened. All right. That wraps up the topics. Are you frustrated right now with not having the right wardrobe to match your evolving lifestyle? My wardrobe, my style, it changes constantly. One day I'm comfy, cozy. Oh, I don't care. I'm in a sweatsuit. The next day I'm in a leather outfit. The day after that it's a crop top. My style is changing every day depending on my mood. Whether you're going on vacation or maybe you are looking for maternity wear. Maybe you're entering that era of your life, or you're simply bored with your old clothes choices, the stylists at Stitch Fix make sure you always have something to wear. Stitch Fix is the best way to shop new styles and brands. Think of them as your style partner. Your stylist will learn about your taste and collaborate with you on looks you'll love without breaking the bank. You simply share your preferences, sizes, and budget, and Stitch Fix sends you 5 items in a fix right to your door. With your choices in mind and sizes from XS, so extra small, to 3XL, they'll find your perfect fit. Try everything on at home, keep what you like, and you can send back the rest. Shipping and returns are always free, so that's a huge plus. Thanks to Stitch Fix, they just get me, they just get us, and they will get you too. Try today at stitchfix.com/chicks, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/chicks. Once again, stitchfix.com/chicks. All right, let's get into the weekly watch report where we talk about the things we watched this week. Weekly watch report on Monday, weekly watch report on Monday, weekly watch report on Monday, weekly watch report on Monday
In LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh. A little snaz on the end of that one.
All right, let's get into the things we watched this week. I watched Apples Never Fall on Peacock. Did you guys watch?
Nope.
Never even heard of that.
It's only like the third time she's brought it up.
Wait, what?
No, that sigh wasn't to you. That sigh was to the show.
Oh.
Oh.
Has this been on your weekly watch report?
No, I've talked about how I was going to watch
it. To
it.
our face.
Oh, okay.
She talked about it to our face.
Twice, yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yep.
Um,
You watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
The potential this show had.
Mm.
The ending made me sick.
Oh, goodness.
It just didn't
Yeah.
land.
I
It made
know
me
it's
sick
based,
in a way where I was like, "That's it."
No, I know it's based on a book. I wonder if they stayed true to the book.
I was like,
I've never read the book.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? This dragged on for 7 episodes. That's it.
Damn, certainly not making me want to watch it now.
No, don't waste your time. I'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what happened.
All right.
Do you want me? Can I?
No, I don't really want you to tell me right now.
You don't want me to just like
I
give
mean,
you a
if
summary?
anyone who's listening who wants to watch it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can fast forward, but like, can I give
I
you a
know
summary?
people are still listening.
Okay, fine. Never mind. Never mind. I won't talk about it, but I'm gonna give it I'll give it a C plus. Because like I was hooked. And then I was like, are you fucking kidding?
Mm.
That's the worst.
I'll be honest, this is making me kind of want to watch it.
Like, here's the thing. I can't talk about it much. Like,
Yeah.
there are parts of the ending I did like.
Yeah.
There was a twist where I was like, oh shit.
I'm going to watch.
I was like, oh shit. But then the way it ended, like literally like the ending, I was like, that's it. Because I did like the twist.
Yep.
So that's why I'm giving it a C plus, because they had me until then. So whatever. It was good, not great. It's hard because I wish I could like really dive into it. But I don't want to spoil if people are going to watch it, which is unfortunate. This is what happens. But I've like had to really come to terms with it the last couple days. And I'm curious if other people watched. Message me. Let me know what you thought. Because I was hooked. And I liked that twist until I didn't. I watched Summer House. Summer House
Samesies.
is it this season.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like
It was really
I
good.
fucking I've gotten my sister onto Summer House.
Hell
now.
yeah.
She texts me. She goes, "I'm watching episode 5."
She's just picking it up now.
Well, no. I watched last week when I was with her.
Oh, okay.
She
hasn't watched the previous seasons.
No.
Yeah, she's just picking.
She's just literally just picking it up now.
Yeah.
I explained it to her.
Yeah,
and she was like, "I'm in."
Yeah, I mean, not complicated.
Right? No. B+. I'm really enjoying Summer House.
So am I.
This episode wasn't a lot, but I'm just enjoying watching. I feel comforted watching.
Did you see all the headlines that is like because Craig was on this episode and it was like Craig says he'll be just fine. Craig says he'll be just fine if he and Paige break up, like all these like very clickbaity headlines. And I was laughing because I was just like, there was some context needed in those headlines of like, I feel like Craig was trying to explain that he has worked on himself and he feels comfortable in himself, where of course if it didn't work out he would be sad and he would be devastated, but like it wouldn't destroy him as a person.
Right. And I think Paige and Craig have an extremely healthy outlook on like whatever they're doing right now.
Totally. I
agree. They're just not putting like pressure on it, and I think people just need to let them be because they're clearly happy with their situation.
People also really lost their minds at Paige sharing how much she pays for rent.
Yeah.
Which just always happens in New York City. Like anytime anyone in New York City reveals how much they pay for rent, the rest of the world goes, "What?
Wait,
oh my God, why?"
How much was it? Now I'm curious.
$8,500.
2-bedroom
for a 2-bedroom.
2-bedroom.
I mean, it's New
It's
York.
not insane.
It's just New York City.
Well, for New York, it's
like
insane.
it's just it's New York City.
It's New York City.
So
and then if you want like I think she lives in a very nice building, amenities, all those things.
Yep. So that gets a B+ for me. Vanderpump Rules is staying in the C territory for me, but now I'm excited for the reunion.
The Valley.
I did watch The Valley. Well, now the only reason I'm hooked on The Valley now is because it's like douchey Jack Taylor back on the TV screen is maybe what we needed.
I hate to admit that I kind of missed it, but I kind of missed it. Like just seeing him immediately, of all things, like thinking that this show was going to be boring or that they were like just going to be like, "Oh, we have babies and we live in the Valley now and like all hunky dory," and Jax immediately is just like, "Kristen shouldn't have a baby." It's just, we're coming in hot.
Yeah.
And I should have, we all should have expected that, but him like being so adamant about Kristen's life, like being like, "She shouldn't have this. Is she really ready? Is she really, what? Who are you to tell Kristen she is or isn't ready to have a baby?" But
Jax, I don't think you were ready.
But it is really, they just get you, and it's smart because they did the same thing with the beginning of Vanderpump, right? It went from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and it went right into that episode of Vanderpump, and it got everybody hooked, and it was the same thing where, like, it went right into the Valley, and they put, like, Sheena was at the party, Lala was at the party, so they sprinkle in some Vanderpump people that are still on Vanderpump to really make it all blend together.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It gets a C+ from me because there's room to grow.
Yeah.
Like we need the characters to grow.
You want to start you can't start too high
there,
yeah.
but it's going to get a C+ for me. And that was really it. There are shows I do want to watch. The Gentleman is on our list, but
I know it's so brutal. It's a show
to watch
this
week.
And I feel like
Curb?
that's a show I really want to watch. It's
Curb
on tonight.
Is on tonight.
We watched the episode from last week.
Remember, because we usually record on Monday.
Yeah,
mornings.
but I thought you didn't watch it at that point last week.
I can't remember right now. Like, it's all.
Oh yeah, you didn't, because remember it was the Dream Scheme.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Oh, no, I didn't watch it because I was
Yeah, there are certain shows, and everybody knows it. When you're in a relationship, there are certain shows that you don't watch without your significant other.
It's rude to do.
And I have a bunch on my list, and I have not seen Joe, so I can't watch them yet.
The Gentleman being one.
The Gentleman I want to watch with Joe.
And you have your shows that you watch alone.
Yep.
And then you have your shows you watch as a couple.
Yep.
And you don't stray from that.
Right.
And if you go behind the other person's back, it's fucked up.
It is. It absolutely is. Like Shogun, I haven't watched the new episode, and I can't until I go home and watch with Joe.
Of course. I totally respect that.
Yeah.
Watched a couple movies on the plane today. I had all the classes back to
Yeah,
back.
you were running through the good. You were feeling
I watched
it.
A
It was
Cinderella
good
Story.
Yeah.
I watched Freaky Friday, and I watched Mean Girls. I watched all 3 of those movies today on the plane.
All like fully.
Mostly, I mean, I watched A Cinderella Story fully. I watched Freaky Friday fully, and then Mean Girls. It was like cut off a little.
Don't
bit.
forget these movies are like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
like
they're
Cinderella
all-
Story is like maybe a little over an hour and a half.
It was a 5-hour flight.
yeah.
And these movies are an hour and a half.
All like A's.
Yeah, they're all classics.
Oh God, those yeah.
But what freaked me out?
I started singing in my head. I kept looking over during Freaky Friday, and I was like, "You're it. You're the ultimate you."
On and on and on and on. Yeah.
I had my
wanna grow up.
4th grade talent show. I danced to that song with my friends.
Really? That's iconic.
Yep.
That is iconic.
We came up with our own dance for that one.
That's rock star shit right
Yep.
there. That is iconic.
Don't wanna grow up. I wanna shout out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of really, really good dance moves in that one.
I love that. That's awesome. What freaked me out was I was watching A Cinderella Story, and then I went to Freaky Friday, completely forgetting the fact that it was Chad Michael Murray again, and also the girl who plays Stacy in Freaky Friday is the same girl, and I was like, I totally forgot that these are all the same actors in the same movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm going back to back here, but those were all classics, and that's everything I watched this week. Besides, you know, when I lay in bed and we just like throw on the classics like Friends or Entourage or whatever, you know.
I watched all the same Bravo shows, so I'll grade them. Summer House, I'll give a B+. I'm really enjoying Summer House. Vanderpump, I'll give a C. The Valley, I'm gonna give a B-.
Damn!
I don't know, like
Coming in hot.
maybe it's just because it's like new people. I'm
fresh meat.
interested. Totally fresh meat. I'm like
Classic.
yeah, exactly. And then I watched all of Buying Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, you're Mauricio's biggest fan.
No, I really am. Like, if there's no fans of that show, I'm dead. Like, I kind of love it. And like, I'm so in on all the office drama. Like, I know all the characters. Honestly, like, their daughters are so sweet. Like, Alexia, let's be friends. I think she's great. Hey,
Official invite.
Yeah, we're not too far away from you guys right now. And they're funny. They're fun. There's a cast of characters that are on the show, and I saw there was a funny tweet. It was like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Mauricio's version. And you know they're talking about it's interesting because they're kind of filming things simultaneously. Like Kyle was filming Beverly Hills at the same time they're filming this show. So they're like talking about filming the other shows, and Mauricio's kind of sharing a little bit more than Kyle was sharing. And you get to see like the aftermath more on this show of after the article came out, because they were all in Aspen when the article came out, and there were agents from the agency going to stay with them at their house in Aspen. And so there's, the cameras are going, they're filming, they're talking about it. So there's just more insight into it. I thoroughly enjoyed. It's better than Selling Sunset, in my personal opinion. And I would really love to know what the dynamic is like in real life, because the agency, they're like, Mauricio's like, we're the best. We're number one in the world, opening 9 billion offices across the world. And then, the Oppenheim group, they seem to be crushing it too. They're always talking about their big stats. So I'm like, what's the battle in real life? Like, do they all hate each other? Is there some conflict?
Real estate drama.
Yeah, I want to know. And then I watched the new episode of 911. Didn't get to Grey's Anatomy, but just watched 911 because, I had to see what happened on that damn cruise ship.
I was going to say what happened with the cruise ship.
Oh, they were saved last minute. Don't you worry.
I've never seen the show, but I was wondering what happened with the cruise ship.
No, they were going full Titanic style where they were gasping for breath, as the water was building up in the room.
I'm so glad you just reenacted it right there.
They're like holding onto the pipe.
Yeah.
And then of course somebody came to save them last minute.
911.
Yep.
That has to be my biggest fear of how to all those movies where the water's just going up.
Right. And you
oh
know what's
God,
happening.
drowning is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Please. I'll give that a C. 911 is ridiculous, and I enjoy it as just what it is. And then Joe and I watched Dune Part 1 because everybody's been fucking talking about Dune Part 2, and I want to go see it. So we said we gotta watch Dune Part 1. We had tried to watch it, I want to say, over last summer, and we were on vacation, and we were tired. We started it late and we fell asleep, and we just were like, didn't feel the desire to revisit. But it's like, you got to get past the first 45 minutes. I think it's a slow start. And then I really enjoyed it. I'll give that a B. I thought it was really good. And it made me really excited for part 2, which I now plan on seeing it at some point.
And then you will go to
I'm
the
hoping
theater.
that it's still in IMAX when I have time to go see it,
I hope so too.
because I'm excited. And that is everything I watched this week.
If you want to pick up on maybe a new hobby, you want to better your life, you want to, educate yourself a little bit more, be a better you in 2024, you can do it with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's designed by real people for real conversations. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, they're accessible, they're rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching, so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners. At babbel.com/chicks. Get 55, yes, you heard it, 55% off at babbel.com/chicks, spelled BABBEL.com/chicks. Rules and restrictions may apply. All right, Noah, how about you? What did you watch this week?
Okay, I finished The Gentleman. I watched 5 through 8. There's 8 episodes. I loved it. For some reason, I really liked it the first 5 episodes, but it really picked up. I'll give it an A-.
Nice.
I could have been an A, honestly, but I'll give it an A-.
Because you're a hard grader. Like, if you were a teacher, I feel like you'd be like a hard grader.
Yeah, I think it's more like the Dave, thing where it's like you don't want to give it a, because then it's like, what if you watch something that's even better than that? Then you have nowhere to go.
Right. Well, yeah.
Like the 10, you don't give a 10 because nothing's perfect.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, but if you really loved it that much,
No, I did, but it wasn't an A. It wasn't an A.
Okay, it was an A-. It was
an A-.
like right there.
But
Could have been.
I
Could have
highly
been perfect.
recommend it.
I'm excited
Theo
to watch
James,
You got a little man crush on Theo
I
James.
think so.
I
The
love
way he
Theo
just
James.
the way he just said the name, like
He's
he
like-
sounded like me.
Well, no,
talking about a male
Theo
actor,
James.
Theo
Honestly,
James.
I love Theo James, and I'm excited whenever Theo
Yeah.
James is
I
in
took a
something. Like when he
pause.
was in the White Lotus, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was almost like, for some reason, I am never quite sure that that's his name. Like I don't know why. Like
No,
the
it is.
He
James.
actually has an extremely long name,
Does he?
and it's shortened. Theo James. James is like his middle name. He has like a 9 name.
No, he should stick with Theo James.
But honestly, like I don't know if the James Bond stuff got figured out. People are like, I don't know if they've actually picked someone, but he would. He should be a contender.
Wait, Noah's starting his campaign for Theo James being James
Said
Bond.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, step aside.
Move
Oh,
over. We have
no.
a new leading man.
Theo James would be. I'm just gonna say that he'd be better than Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Wait, you're cracking me
And
up.
he's
Theodore
also
Peter
British, right?
James Kennard Taptakilis. Taptakilis.
Yeah.
I'm probably saying that wrong, but I believe that is Greek.
don't-
I believe
do-
that is Greek.
Do you think who plays James Bond should be British in real life, or maybe not? I mean, Sean Connery.
Aaron
is-
Taylor Johnson is British in real life.
He is.
Yep.
Don't act like you knew. Don't act like you knew.
lost that argument fast,
It's
my guy.
not that I didn't know, but I did not. Like I didn't know, but I had no thoughts about what Aaron Taylor
I don't know.
Johnson was.
Wow, that blows my mind. I'm just like, he's
my God, I'm
American.
so
Has
sorry.
he
You
ever
just-
been?
Yeah, no,
in,
he's English.
Has he ever been in a movie where he has a British accent?
Yeah. Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. Check it out.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah, classic.
Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging honestly
Wait,
is a
maybe
movie
Bullet
that formed my childhood.
Uh-huh.
I watched that movie 9 million times. That's another one with a great fake song because he's in a band.
Okay.
And
I know
Ultraviolet. It's a great song.
I know him most from Savages, the movie with Blake
Yeah.
Lively and
Bullet Train, I
he might be.
think
British
he's
in that.
British
I
in
can't
Bullet
remember.
Train.
I didn't really watch that.
Savages was the first rated R movie I saw, and it was like she was like Taylor Kitsch's character. He was like he fucks, like Ben makes love. Like it was like a whole thing, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. It was intense.
I just think of him like
I felt that way about Angus Songs of Perfect
when he played in Kick-Ass, and he was just like the nerdy like American kid, man.
I'm really sorry to dampen your Theo James as James Bond campaign.
No, I don't think that changes the fact that Theo would be better. But
I was like, pretty sure Theo's more British.
Theo looks British. How about that?
Noah in his spare time.
Aaron Taylor Johnson looks British.
Yeah, I agree. I think he looks more British than Theo James.
Yeah, he does.
Theo James looks like.
Maybe it's just.
I mean, hey, the Greek last name, he looks Greek.
Maybe it's just because the gentleman inherently is like this
Extremely
British and
yeah.
like they're gentlemen and like it's very James Bond-y already.
Theo James is such a gentleman.
You know, he's British and he's a gentleman, aka he should be James Bond.
I haven't seen that out of Aaron.
1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, in Noah's spare time, he's like digitally like AI creating Theo James as James Bond, like on his laptop.
I don't even really
late at
have
night.
to. If you watch The Gentleman,
just
you're
watch
like,
The
he's
Gentleman, he's
basically
probably-
James
Have
Bond.
you watched Divergent, the movie?
No.
You should watch it. It's Theo
It's Theo
James.
James.
He's great in it. It's a
I
good
think
movie.
it might be more gentleman than Theo, but because
Yeah.
I like watched The White Lotus and I thought he was good, but I wasn't like, oh, this guy, like,
Yeah. Well,
it might be his character in the
Okay.
show. But yeah, give that an A-.
A- for the gentleman, A+ for Theo James.
Yeah. No, he gave great performance. Honestly, great performances all around. Even like the lead actress, who I don't know her name, but she was really good.
All right.
Watch Quiet on Set. I'm not going to grade that.
No,
Yeah.
I left that out.
Yeah,
I'm not great in that.
Yeah.
Shogun. Yesterday I did nothing. It was raining all day, and I watched episodes 2 to 5. So the last 3 episodes, and I'm so locked in.
It's so good.
I'm like, I think that the first few, like, I don't, or the first couple, I maybe wasn't like paying attention as hard, and then I'd have to rewind because if you're not watching with subtitles and you don't know what happened. But this time I was just like, I have nothing to do. I'm just gonna watch these, and so good.
Yeah.
And now I'm like invested in all the characters and everything.
Do you think that this show is going to become like the next Game of Thrones? Or do you think that Game of Thrones is like kind of like a once in a lifetime
Game of Thrones,
type
yeah.
of
Game of Thrones
phenomenon?
isn't like.
I don't think
it's such a standalone thing.
Because
you know,
the books
Yeah.
and
It
everything
won't be
that
like
goes along with it.
the phenomenon that was, and it's like,
I think Shogun's also based on a book.
oh, Shogun's like been around before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but like Game of Thrones was every Sunday night, and
Right,
like,
it was a
also
thing.
it was like
Yeah.
very like there. I think subtitles probably do turn some people away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's certainly a lot of advertising around these parts
Yeah.
for it.
But I'll give those an A-. Thought that was
Nice.
Everyone should watch that. And then I did finish Dune Part 1 on the plane today.
Oh, you did.
yeah.
You guys hanging out?
No, it's weird because I had the same thinking last week or like whatever, and I started Dune, and I was like, God, like, because I tried to watch it like years ago when it first came out, and me and my roommates like turned it off too, and I was like, I guess like I should watch this because I want to watch. Everyone's hyping up the second one, and I was just like, God, this is slow. Like I can't get through this. Like, and I've watched it in like 5 parts probably, but I just finished it on the plane today, and it got better. It definitely like, it's not like fully my thing.
Right.
Like just I wasn't even like that big of a Star Wars.
Some
guy,
people are
like,
very into that kind of world, and
Yeah.
some are not.
and also it's like me watching it on a TV plane, which the screen is like this big.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
meant for the big. It's
for,
meant
like,
for the big
IMAX.
screen. Yeah,
Right,
it is
right.
for
So
sure.
I'm sure that if I watched it in the theater, I would probably have.
I mean,
different
the
reaction.
last 45 minutes I think are really good.
Oh yeah. You know, the airplane, like you can't
Yeah,
really hear
yeah.
that well.
Yeah.
and,
yeah,
course.
yeah.
and then
yeah.
the sun's hitting you, and then the guy next
There's
to me
a
spilling his
glare.
wine all over me.
Oh God, I'm so sorry you went through this.
But no, I actually enjoyed it. Or like at least the second half of it. It is funny though that like Zendaya is like barely in it.
Yeah, you have to know. You know that going in.
Yeah,
Like, I
and the
don't
way
really-
that they advertise
Yeah.
is like Zendaya is the star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she is a major character. It's just part 1,
She's
part
just
2. It's
part
like
one,
you
part
know.
Right, exactly.
But I'll give that. I actually was gonna give that a B too.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's
All
all
right.
I watched.
Awesome.
All right, that's everything we watched this week. That wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Stay tuned because we will be at the Bachelor finale later tonight. So tune in. You may see us on the TV screen. I have no idea where we're sitting, but maybe you'll see us. There'll be no cutting stems, but we will do a recap. That'll be out on Tuesday. Can't give you an exact time on when that's going to be, but it'll be probably later Tuesday night. And yeah, look at our Twitters and our Instagrams, and we'll see what we can and cannot post. But we love you guys, and we will talk to you on the next episode.